welcome to another episode of the Cuppa Culture from South Tip Arts Centre. Well, this week we speak to Cliona Maher, Director of Clonmel Junction Arts Festival, and we caught up for a cuppa as she is currently in the throes of reorganising this year's Junction Arts Festival as a series of online events. Cliona, you're very welcome to the Cuppa Culture here at South Tip Arts Centre, which you're no stranger to, of course.
Indeed.
A very brave woman in that you are running the Clonmel Junction Arts Festival this year as a digital event or series of events, should I say.
Yes, kind of took the decision very, very quickly, actually, that we got notified very quickly by the Arts Council that they would honour their full grant to us. So we thought, right, that means we have the overheads covered. What can we do with the rest? Tipperary County Council were wonderful and stepped in and said, yeah, you'll get your full grant. And we went back and forth a few times about, how we would actually deliver it. And we decided that we'd try to do as much as possible in town, and we'd do a lot of events as digital virtual events.
And that's brilliant. You've got a whole load of ancillary stuff. Now, I know your full programme isn't announced yet, but there's a few things in particular that people could start to become aware of now at the moment. Like the Symposium is a very, very interesting thing. And you've got Sean Rock.
Yeah, the Symposium. And that was one where I think even 2 weeks before the lockdown, when things were beginning to, the ball was beginning to roll, Adrian Jackson, who's the theatre director in the UK, who will be speaking at the Symposium, emailed me to say, will it be possible to go ahead? At that point, nothing had really cancelled. And I had said to him, well, it can definitely go ahead because your input could be virtual. You could you could be in connection from London by remote access. So we had already started to think in that direction. And then I suppose even in April, we were thinking that maybe we could go ahead and do it as a physical event with just Adrian phoning in his contribution. But obviously it became apparent quite quickly that it was all going to have to be, that any sort of interactive event was going to have to be digital.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're able to keep it because, with so much that we've lost, and this is a festival that I started planning in, I suppose, February 2019, with some of the projects, the bones of some of the projects went back to 2017. Yeah. So it's very sad to lose some of that content, I have to tell you. It's still killing me.
The one thing I suppose about the Symposium being that it's speakers and lectures and things like that is one of the easier things to probably transfer into the digital space. And also,
absolutely,
I suppose you've got a lovely archive of it forever then as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a different sense of it, and we're very lucky that Sean Rocks, the RTE Arena presenter, is going to host the Symposium. So, we had invited him because, of course, he has great knowledge of a range of art forms, including, classical music, visual arts, theatre, film, literature. So we'd invited him to host it, and obviously his kind of his presenting skills are really, really helpful, and he's been very generous with his time.
He's a lovely interviewer as well. Such a familiar sort of voice, from
great. And it'll be fun for people to see him,
It will, yeah.
And of course, Sean was originally an actor. We were actually in a theatre company together many moons ago. So I'm one of those people who still thinks of him as an actor turned presenter.
That's actually read that in his bio, and I hadn't realised that he was an actor before. He was
in the original stage production of Frank Pig Says Hello.
Wow.
He's a great actor. He was really good, but he is a fine presenter. So
yeah, brilliant to have him on board. Also, the School of Looking, Kerry Connelly.
Yeah, they're great. So the School of Looking, the plan had been to put the helmets out in different public spaces like shopping centres, industrial estate, housing estates, and that was immediately apparent that wasn't going to happen. And I suppose per our Arts Council funding, anybody that we had a contract with, we were going to pay. And what I found with most of the artists was that they wanted to do something for the money, for a sector where everybody has often worked for far less than they should. There were a couple of people I had to really convince to take the payment. So they came up with this idea. They have a really, really fascinating exhibition opening in the Crawford in the autumn. And it's based on the nature of light. So it's 7 different installations based on the different forms of light, like gamma rays and X-rays and microwaves, ultraviolet. So what they're going to do for us is they are going to do a lecture series. And I suppose anybody who saw their work a few years ago in the Arts Centre for Junction 2018, with the kind of the installations and the metaperceptual helmets, they have a really wonderful way of bringing together science, intellectual concepts and fun. You know, they're like, some of the stories on the discoveries of science are hilarious, and it's going to be a really engaging series. And again, that's an event that Boston Scientific had been going to sponsor the helmets, and they're fantastic. They've stayed on board. They're now sponsoring the Vision Revolution lecture series. So we're just so grateful to kind of the companies and the funding agencies that have stood by us because we decided to go ahead.
That's brilliant. That's one thing about the Kerry Connelly exhibition that I remember was just how engaging it was. It was hugely popular with the public, and like taking these kind of scientific theories and things and bringing them to the likes of me, for instance, who, you know, has no sort of maybe concept, or, you know, that material can be quite dry and hard to wade through. So to have that now is
and they're wonderful at like bringing out the stories behind the discoveries, you know, and one of the things we're so sad about, I discovered with them that we were going to have the helmets and kind of another installation of theirs at the Clonmel show, which of course isn't going ahead, and there's something dogs can only see in blue and yellow. So we were going to have this whole thing about the tip colours and how dogs can see the tip colours. And hopefully they'll refer to that in the lecture series.
That sounds very, very interesting. You also have a couple of other kind of ancillary things happening around. You've got a YouTube channel now, which is an interesting development.
Yes. Well, we've actually always had a YouTube channel. Apparently, we just haven't used it that much. But we had two projects that had been planned to be youth projects happening during the week of the festival. And Creative Ireland, you know, came to us and said, well, you know, you've applied for funding for these two projects. Can you adapt them to what you're now doing? So there are two strands to it. There's the Clonmel Rocks music project, which started last week with Stephen McGrath and Jeff Barrett from Crowback Chicken, who of course both are music tutors, and Rebecca Keogh of Vocal Studios. So what they're doing is we auditioned virtually. Kids sent in videos. We have two rock bands. They've been working together. They have an individual lesson every week, and then they have a group tutorial or band meeting on a Friday. We're hopefully going to pick names this week or next week. They get to design their t-shirt. And then in late June, we will record their rock videos, and those will be diffused broadcast during the festival. So that's really fantastic. And there's some amazing talent in Clonmel. And
so there's a younger group and an older group, am I right?
Yeah, they're both kind of similar-ish in age. I mean, it's sort of the youngest is 9 and the oldest is 13, almost 14. So they're kind of mixed. So there isn't really a sort of a two-level thing. They're both mixed now. Couple of guitar players who have very bravely decided to take on the bass, which is really cool. And so I'm really looking forward to the results of that. And the other project is Be Creative Clonmel, which is a project of Niamh Curry, who goes by Colour Hive, and Kevin Power. And they have a project, they have video tutorials on our YouTube channel. So this is open to everyone. This is open to any kind of kid or teen. Niamh has done these really, really great tutorials on abstract art and on portrait drawing. We're inviting people to have a look at the video tutorials. A lot of the schools, we've sent the information to schools, and a lot of the schools have included it on the homework that they're sending home to kids. And we're getting some great contributions already. The idea is to look at the tutorials and then come up with your own piece of abstract art or your own portrait, send it in to us. We're going to curate them, and we're going to have in the town, as part of the festival, we're going to have shop window galleries. So we're basically going to turn the town of Clonmel into an art gallery for the week.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
Because at that point, at that point in July, we won't be able to congregate. We won't be able to have live music or live theatre, but we will still be able to do a sort of an outdoor visual arts element. So the idea is that you'll be able to come into Clonmel. There will be things to do. There will be things that you can download and participate in. There'll be lots of things to see, and hopefully it's a way of giving back to the community and supporting the shops and the restaurants and cafes that have supported us always.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to see all the windows filled up with wonderful creations. That will just...
If you have a window that you'd like to give us, let me know.
And there's plenty of empty windows around the town.
Plenty of empty windows. So the more the merrier that can be filled with art. So those are some of the main lines. We also have, and I suppose we had an open call for the Boatmen of Clonmel Art Trail, and we have 6 installations that will be happening in and around the town. So we'll announce more about them later. And they're, again, the Boatmen of Clonmel programme was sponsored by Comida, and again, they're standing by us. So it's just really, really great to have this kind of community of support in the town. And again, for the artists, for the technicians, for the crew, everybody has just said to me that they're, for the office staff, everybody's like so happy to be doing something.
Yeah, well, it's so
even if we're not together, we're all sitting in our living rooms or our kitchens or, the back garden, but we're communicating, we're keeping going, and it's a challenge, it's a learning curve. But
well, you know what, a lot of festivals now just completely pull their program and said, look, we just can't do this, we can't cope. So huge kudos for taking on the challenge of adapting the whole thing to...
Well, thank you very much. We'll see in mid-July how well it's worked. But yeah, so we've got some really exciting stuff. As the festival has ever been, I think it's a really nice blend of local and international.
It always is, it always is. I'm going to let you get to work now because it's the only time I could catch you was early in the morning. So, because you're a very busy lady and you've got 100 million things to do today, no doubt. So we're going to catch up again a bit closer to the to July.
Yeah, so we'll be launching the digital program on June 11th. Everything that we're doing, apart from the physical stuff in Clonmel, everything we're doing will be something that you can book a ticket to through Eventbrite. And of course, it'll be a free ticket unless people want to give us a donation. But it's just a way of encouraging people, because there's so much content out there. It's just a way of kind of putting people to the point of premiering any of the content that we have. And we've got some great things.
It's going to be brilliant. Keep up the good work. It's been absolutely
lovely.
Thanks,
Emer, and you guys too. And I'm looking forward to the Arts Centre reopening at the end of July.
Oh my God.
It's a shame.
It's been lovely to have a virtual cuppa with you, seeing as we can't get to have a real one.
Absolutely. I'm just going to take a slurp of my coffee now.
Me too. Cheers. Thanks a million, Cliona, and have a great day. And thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, Emer. You too. Okay, bye.